Hello everybody, the next car that you've selected to view on ClassicMuscleCars.com is a new arrival here at Northern Illinois Classic Auto Brokers. Now we need to take a little bit of time to talk about this car because it is very unique, it's one of a kind, and in the 25 years that I've been doing this and been in this business, I have never seen another car like it. And I tell you what, it's got a really cool story. Now the story is, this car was a LA Department Police undercover police car, believe it or not, okay? True story. They wanted to get something out there that was kind of unconspicuous and something that could cruise around with some of the muscle cars and keep up with them out there so that they could do some of the undercover work with drug dealers and so on and so forth. Now, this car was ordered by the LA Police Department and it was produced on July 9th of 1971. It was the last day for the Challenger production, and this car is believed to be the last car, Challenger, that was sent to California. So that's rare in itself, but the story behind it is what really makes this car what it's all about. It's equipped with some cool options, and we'll get into that in a second, but it has a ton of documentation, and one of the cool things that goes along with this car is this article that was done in Mopar magazine in 2001. It's called Witness for the Prosecution, which is a great name for it. So it is a center spread article with some photographs, and it talks all about the history of the car, and it also has an extra page recalling a lot of the history about it. Now, is what I understand, and we can send this article to you by fax if you're interested. Just call Ed here at 847-526-5950. He can copy this, send it to you, and you can read it because it's really some interesting reading. So in a nutshell, what they were trying to do here was get a car that's very inconspicuous. But you know, to me, inconspicuous would be dark, like dark brown, and you know, some grandma type colors and a plaid interior or something like that. But instead, they get a Plum Crazy purple car with a white top. You can't get any more inconspicuous, right? Doesn't make sense, man. It's like Flash City. Hey, here we're coming, man. Beep, beep, beep. But you know, what they did, and it's really cool, they got a cassette recorder that was ordered. It's very, very rare. I haven't seen very many of these cars equipped this way. And it has a microphone in it, which, you know, cassettes, they didn't have a lot of cassette players at all in the early 70s. So this car was ordered special with that cassette player. And what they wound up doing with it was when they were on a chase or when they were on a stakeout or when they were talking to somebody that they wanted to convict, they were getting that information on tape and they were taking it into court. So this car prosecuted a lot of criminals. So it's got a cool history. I mean, it's incredible. I can't believe it, but you know what? It's here. It's awesome. It's a neat piece. And you know, you get a lot of cars with stories, but this one is probably one of the best stories that I've seen in my 25 years, with the exception of the Moonshine Runner that I had. But that's a different story, and that's a different car, and that one's long gone, but this one is here today, and that's what we're talking about. Now, the good thing also, this car has got a ton of documentation. This is one of the broadcast sheets. This is the other broadcast sheet. There's two, but they're two different. They're not the same. They're different in the respect that this one is stamped with the cassette on the bottom and it says black, and some of the other information in here is the same that's here, but it's stamped cassette and it has a number here, obviously, that's on the bottom. It's a little bit different from the other one. Now also, we've got the original window sticker. This is really cool. You don't find that with hardly any cars. You see a lot of remakes out there, and you look at it and you think it's real, but it's not. This is the real McCoy, okay? And the car listed price on it was $4,728.55. It's got all the options on it, and it went to Claude Short Dodge in Santa Monica, California. Now, in this article, they talk about it a little bit in detail, and they're showing a picture up here. I don't know if Jeremy can get in here where he can see it a little bit. They're showing a couple pictures here. Now, what happened was after they used this car in a few stakeouts, they weren't too happy with the performance. This is a 383 4-barrel car, automatic with air. So you know, it had a lot of toys on it. It kind of slowed it down a little bit. So they told the dealership they wanted to pump it up a little bit. So it went into the dealership, and the dealership did a little hot rod action on it. They put aluminum intake on it, they put headers on it, they did a little head work, they pumped it up that way. But what's cool in what they photographed in this magazine article, and this is left original under the hood from when this work was done, the headers, they actually made their own connection to go up to the air cleaner, the heat riser. So that's all handmade in the shop. So it's kind of cool, but it's part of the history of the car. And the mechanic, for whatever reason, and they mention it a lot in the article, sprayed the valve covers. Oh no, Chevy orange. So it was like, you know, they got a complaint from the police department because they did that, and that was all talked about here in this article. So it's really cool that you can get a car and you can sit and you can read about this kind of history with a car like this, because you just don't see cars with a history behind it. You might see 71 Challengers of the different kinds of Challengers, but you're just not going to find a car that has such a unique history. And the car has all of the original fender tag, all that's intact here. And what's also something that's really good about this car is the under the hood has been left just the way it was photographed and pretty much the way that it was all during its lifetime. So now this is not a restored car. The paint that's on here was repainted, and it makes reference to this, and we're going to give you a little bit of history here with Mopars. Anybody that has had them way back knows where I'm coming from. Plum Crazy Purple, because of the pigment in the paint, they had a lot of problems with the paint flaking off. I think it had something to do with the primer. And there was a lot of cars back then that the paint just absolutely flaked off the car all over the place. So after the first year, this car was showing a lot of those problems. It had a complete factory repaint through the original dealership that it was bought at. So the only paint that's been on here other than the factory was the factory repaint that the factory paid for through the dealership under warranty. So right now there's a couple chips on the fender which we're going to have fixed. We're going to have it spotted in. Performance Restorations, our restoration shop here in Mundelein, is going to handle that, and I guarantee you we'll have a perfect match to it. The top has been replaced on the car. That's probably about the only other thing that's been touched on it. It's a white top, so obviously over the years, white, especially with vinyl, it gets brittle, it gets hard, and it gets to the point where you can't even clean it. So that's been redone. All the glass, the stainless, the bumpers, the body side moldings that were on the car, and the interior, all of this is original on the under the hood. This car is just in excellent condition throughout because it's been very well taken care of during its lifetime, and a lot of that I'm sure had to do with the fact that one of the original officers who helped order this car, after the car was put out of service during the gas crunch in like 75, he purchased a vehicle from the police department. So he had it for quite a few years. There's a lot of references there, and I'm sure he took extremely good care of it because it shows. And then it was sold to went into a Mopar collection, and now it's been traded around a few times, and we've wound up with it here. So the car pretty much has been under lock and key. It was in a collection, I believe, since probably the mid-'80s. So it really hasn't gotten out to where it's had an opportunity for people to really see it, other than when it was photographed for this magazine article. It's been pretty much put up under lock and key. Now the wing that's in the back of the car wasn't ordered that way. After the car was taken out of service and the officer bought the car, he went and had the wing installed on it to give it a little extra flash. So, and I think obviously it does. It's unique to this car, but it is the correct wing to go on this particular car, and they've got the right supports under the trunk, so it was done the right way. Also, this car's got hood pins on it. That's another option that was on the car. which is pretty rare, and it's just got a gorgeous interior in it. Now we're going to take a little bit of time. We're going to go around and we'll show you some of the unique things. I'm going to show you under the hood of this car, and I had really mixed feelings about this car when I got it in, because I'm a real detail freak and I really like to get my cars looking the way that I'm happy with them under the hood. After I read this article and I looked the car over and I found out that the valve covers, okay, for example, were painted by one of the mechanics, and there's reference to it here in the article, and that the people at the police department, when they got it back, complained to the dealership. Those are things that I feel that I shouldn't touch. So I'm not going to do any detailing under the hood. It would be something that I think is going to discredit the car's originality, because the history is referenced here in the article, so I really don't want to go there. And don't get me wrong, it's not that bad under the hood, but I'm just, when it comes to under hood stuff, I mean, I love to have beautiful engine compartments, but we're just not going to do that to this car. We've decided, with the history of the car and the vehicle and all the photographs that document what this car is, we're going to leave well enough alone, because we need to leave it as original as possible. So now we're going to take a few minutes, go around and show you some of the great things about this car. If you want to get some more information about it, give Ed a call at 847-526-5950. You can also check out the pictures, and this is something I need to make reference to. We've had some people say we do gift files here, so when you see the pictures, a picture loads up, another one comes up, another one comes up. These are gift files, what we call. And you see the pictures flash, and some people are like, well, I want to stop them and slow them down. Well, we can't really slow them down, but you can stop them. All you need to do is hit your stop button on your toolbar, and it will stop the picture. So where you want to see the picture, wherever that may be, just hit your stop button and it'll stop, and you'll be able to see it. So we're going to take a couple minutes now, and Jeremy's going to get everything ready, and we're going to show you the rest of this beautiful 71 Challenger Plum Crazy Purple undercover police car.